So, Ashish, thank you for coming on. So, I know why I'm here. Why are Global Components at an NVIDIA conference?
You know, we've had a relationship with NVIDIA for several years now, and this is really an expansion of the relationship that was announced about 30 days ago,
Yep.
where we're taking their Xavier product and really the Jetson AGX family and bringing it globally. If you think about the advancements in the GPU compute and everything that you need from a machine learning and an autonomous perspective, this is really the technology that allows you to go and really bring it to life. So as that relationship was established, really our objective was how do we go talk about it, promote it, how do we bring this technology to our customers, not only to design it in, but what are all the surround things that we can do to help them build complete solutions around this really impressive new technology.
Okay, so essentially you guys are selling so one of the things we learned about in the keynote today was all about the embedded devices, the embedded boards, the Xavier, the AGX, I believe.
Correct.
And about how essentially they are going to be the sort of the mainstay of automated autonomous cars, devices, all the way down to that little DNA sequencing machine that we saw brought on stage.
Sure.
You guys are essentially, you've got the distribution rights to be able to actually distribute and work with your partners to essentially derive that into a solution.
Correct. So we have the partner ecosystem that knows how to design around this product family, number one. I want to step back for a second and kind of talk about Xavier and why that's important. If you think of autonomous machines, right, there's lots of first mile, last mile delivery problems. And when you can automate those tasks, when you think of very repetitive tasks where they're really not good for human beings to do, that over the years you've had lots and lots of machines that have done that. Now you're getting to the next level of machine that can do that. But when you talk about some of these free moving in the XYZ direction type of machines that have the ability to think, there's a lot of inputs required, there's a lot of processing required to do that. And so if you have something that has maybe a dozen different cameras, you're taking inputs from a dozen different cameras, and you're running these deep neural networks locally on the edge, then you have the ability to go process all that data right there on the edge, rather than saying, I'm going to take these 12 video streams, send them to the cloud for analysis, and 2 days later I'll get you an answer.
So you're turning around insight a lot quicker,
Exactly
you're
right.
shortening the time to value, and I can imagine actually sort of knock on downstream that has a quite significant effect on the amount of data you can process, because you're not going to pass, in the example of a camera, you're not going to pass a HD feed all the way back to the data center, wherever that may be, from a camera, wherever that may be. You're sending back essentially the matrix value that the camera has inferred.
Exactly
from
right. Here's the metadata, and I can tell you the age, gender, the mood of people as they're walking throughout the show, for example.
Yeah, and that must have an interesting subsequent knock-on effect with regards to things like GDPR, where actually, because we're not storing a personally identifiable image of a human being, essentially that image is captured and also destroyed in the camera. And all we're sending back is anonymous matrix data, as you say, to establish, are you this, are you that, are you the other?
And there's a lot of interesting use cases around different verticals. So think of retail, where you're going to use camera-based technology to tie point-of-sale data to, to the profile of a customer.
Yeah.
So you can say, well, David likes milkshakes, and Ashish likes Coca-Cola. So, as an example.
And this is what I love. So, I mean, we've been talking to customers about sort of enhancing the retail experience, because obviously at the moment the only point of data collection in a retail experience is point of sale.
Yeah.
And by that point, all you know is someone's bought something. You don't know how many sales you missed because product placement wasn't quite correct, or actually you're stocking the wrong things because every time someone put a specific jacket on, they really didn't like it. Then you could capture that in their face. Yeah, how could you go about actually collecting more data about the shopping experience to optimize and bring that online, offline, is it?
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. If you think of retail, there are 3 key touch points. 2 of them are highly instrumented. Number one is the website, right? E-commerce. You know everything a person's doing in the e-commerce world.
Yep.
Down to the click and how long you spend looking at a particular image. Then you go to the call center. Call centers have been around for a long time. A lot of analytics around call centers. That's been there for a long time. So there are two channels of interaction. And when I talk about call centers, it's not just the phone. It's email, it's chat, it's social, all the different ways that customers communicate with companies when they have questions or issues. But then the third one is really the retail store experience, and it's really primitive, right? A lot of what happens in stores is very dependent upon humans. So you're relying on a human being to keep an eye on, you know, who's coming into the store, how many people, what's the busy time. You kind of have a gut feeling for it, but that's hard to scale across a network of stores, for example. And this is where technologies like this can really bring it together.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you take out of the loop the subjectivity or subjectivity. Yeah, of human beings in the store. Yeah. Whereas some people might look at one person and class them in one way. One person might look at someone, but using a consistent system removes that bias.
Yeah,
I mean, albeit it may introduce other bias through wrongful training, but that's another podcast altogether.
We can talk about that. But you know,
over a beer maybe.
Absolutely. We're going to be in London for 12 hours on Friday.
Well, there you go.
But a good example of a retail and somebody we work with is a big grocery chain company, and our eInfochips team that we acquired at the beginning of the year.
That's a great point.
Really developed a solution that's camera-based and sensing and inference to really understand what's happening in the aisles, both from a safety and a security perspective, but then also looking at the checkout stands and seeing, you know, how deep is the line, and do I need to open new check stands? Again, improving the customer experience. Retail is having challenges because they don't innovate enough in the customer experience because the margins are thin, and it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy because they're not investing. It's hard for them to provide a better customer experience.
Of course. And I suppose if we sort of boil it right down to why is it important that we're here, it's that one arrow strategy. You know, I think one of the things is this is going to be a really interesting symbiotic relationship between the two of us. Because obviously you guys are providing the inference at the edge. We're providing the ability to go and essentially do all of the training in the data center and consume those massive models to create those highly refined trained networks that you then go and use to actually go and provide that informative information at the edge.
So one of the things I would say is really where we sit in the ecosystem, where we sit with an arrow, there is no organization. We're basically spanning the entire organization, and we're really thinking about solving a customer's problem. And when you talk about doing something like machine learning, what people don't realize right off the top is machine learning actually has a lot of computational requirements, whether that's in the cloud or premise. You need the data scientists and you need the services. So really we bring together all the products and services from the edge through the gateway onto the compute and the cloud side, and then all the services that go along with that to go build the product, to connect it, to analyze and infer the outcomes and the insights from the data, and then ultimately manage and sustain those devices over the entire life cycle. And I think we're uniquely positioned because of all the strengths and all the capabilities we have as Arrow to really work together to solve all these problems.
Yeah, fantastic. And I must admit, I think, you know, if we look at where our investment is as a company and where our partners are gaining the most sort of capability and the most sort of advantage from working with us, it is in that very intelligent edge space. It's in that, you know, next generation platforms. It really is in that sort of generating data that they might not have seen or sort of necessarily valued before, and showing them how to use it to make better business decisions every day.
Yep, and you had to guide people there. You know, I kind of use the example of a blank sheet of paper. You give somebody a blank sheet of paper, a few people are going to be able to create something really incredible on it. Most people are going to leave it blank. And I really look at all the technology and service offering really almost as a blank sheet of paper, but it's up to us to guide our customers to go pull these things together to go solve for a customer's problem, whether that is an OEM customer or an enterprise customer that we're working through our channel. Either way, again, we got to go help and guide these people into the next generation solution.
Awesome. Well, look, Ashish, thank you ever so much for coming on today. And we'll see you soon.
Yeah, see you soon. My
awesome.
pleasure. Thank
Cheers.
you.